Chapter 35, The Story That Yan Mo and a Fierce Bird Have to Tell. Yuan Zhan slowed down after exhaustion. In the sky, the big bird that took the little slave has already only left a little black spot. His little slave was gone. Yuan Zhan suddenly fell, his palms clenched into fists and pressed against his left chest. It was strange that he once again felt the feeling he could not describe when he learned that his father could never return from the hunting trip he went. There was no injury in the heart, but there was a pain in the heart that was stung a little, like when you are stranded deep in the desert and you the fear and despair that you can't find water. Strange, why does he feel fear? Because he has to become a person without a slave again? Obviously it is only a slave. If you lose one, you can get one more. Maybe because this is his first slave? Maybe because he had the whole life to look after other than his own life for the first time? After a moment, Yuan Zhan stood up and his face looked like he had recovered to his usual fierceness and coldness, but the gloomy face and the tattoos on his face made him seem to be hurting whenever he looked to the sky. His wooden spear fell, and he had to go back to find his wooden spear. Also, he had to go to find the group of sheeps. Yuan Zhan squinted at the few sheeps that were about a spear throw in front of him and took a deep breath. Just running crazily, it seems that he ran far away. The environment here is not strange, the small group of sheep will run there are several places to go and find God water leaves. This place is one of them. The little slave said that he should follow the flock of sheeps, then Yuan Zhan like a cat sneaked into the sand and sneakily observed the sheeps. Today he does not want to catch the sheep, he only looked at what the sheeps are doing. At 2 points, Yan Mo was comatose because of a short period of hypoxia when the big bird flew midway. So he didn't know at all how far the big bird took him. He didn't know where it took him to fly until... Hey! The big bird's paw was loose, and there were several holes on each side of the shoulder where the bird's claw had poked him. The coma boy was thrown into a huge bird's nest. The hole that had blood flowing slowly stopped flowing the blood, and several holes were also closed at a little speed with the speed that the naked eye could see. If someone was here to be surprised by this speed of healing, there is only one huge bird that looked strange and terrible in this huge nest. Yan Mo woke up because of the vibration around him. He woke up, but did not move. He was pretending to be dead on the ground and secretly looked at the big bird not far away. At this point, he almost revealed the fact that he had already woken up. The bird was too fast when he caught him. He didn't see what the big bird looked like while he was in the air, and then he could finally see the shape of the big bird clearly, but at the moment, he would rather not see it. This bird has a face that looks like normal human face. If it's not that its mouth was sharp like a beak, there is a little hook at the end. This face is not even ugly, but with such a mouth, that kind of body, and the pair of slanting wings that look savvy and dazzling, it made Yan Mo feel strangely surprised and creeped out. Moreover, the bird has a cluster of feathers at the top of the ear and the top of the head. The feathers on the top of the head are raised high, and the long tail ends naturally fall back. With its face, the bird looked really luxurious and prideful. P.S. I claim no ownership to the image. If you find this image violated your copyright, hit me up and I will delete it. In addition to the 3 clusters of golden mane on the head, the human face bird has black feathers. While the feathers are black, the belly is lighter and the wings were tucked in. Its body is huge, and its wings are half a mile wingspan at least. Yan Mo doesn't know how big the wings can be when they are fully stretched. Unfortunately, he was too frightened, but he could not help notice. Looking at the pair of big claws that can lift a person very easily. Not only is the knot strong, but the front end is even more barbed. And its legs are much thicker than the giant eagle claws. This bird, is it surely the kind that eat people? Yan Mo trembled and felt his shoulders hurt so much. If it was a normal person, these 2 shoulders would be completely disabled, but since he was given a healing ability, why didn't God just give him the ability to not feel pain? He always felt that he felt more pain than the way an average person felt the same pain, and he doesn't know if it is an illusion. However, it is not impossible to use the urine on the old man. Hey! The bird's face suddenly turned, and a pair of savvy red phoenix eyes suddenly caught up with him. Yan Mo wanted to close his eyes and it was too late. The bird's nest is large, and large enough that the bird face is not a problem in the nest. Seeing that the prey is alive, the human face bird stood up and took a step forward. Yan Mo's eyes widened and he looked at the mouth with huge claws and that approached him a little cautiously. Arch! Okay? Yan Mo stayed silent. He seemed to be nudged by the bird's beak. The bird's face looked at the prey. Not only the prey blood smell more sweet than all the other preys in the past, but this one is not as screaming as the other two-legged monsters, or climbed up to it, or directly want to attack it. This little two-legged monster is just looking at it there. The bird bowed its head and nudged the head of the prey with his beak. Yan Mo was actually very frightened. Anyone who has been near a hard, cold, black and golden bird's mouth would be. Yan Mo is too afraid that there is no emotions other than panic. He did really want to attack it, but his arm was in too much pain, and the injury still affected him. He couldn't even if he wanted to raise his hand. As for why he didn't yell at the bird's face, it was because he knew that facing any animal, especially the birds, he must not show a pose like he is trying to attack, and even some actions that would make the other party misunderstand. Of course, if you are in a place that is far away from the said bird before being captured by the said bird, you can use a violent action to scare away each other. Although this may not mean that he will be able to escape being eaten, at least he will not immediately cause the bird to counterattack and end him earlier. He did not escape, because he was surrounded by the edge of the bird's nest. He wanted to shrink more to the side, but even then he simply did not move. Even when the beak rubbed his face, he thought about it with a single mind. If I couldn't make it, I would give it a few mouthfuls. Anyway, I will die for a while, and then I will regain my strength if I don't know where the bird's acupuncture points are. I can also find opportunities to scrap your human face bird. As long as I am still alive, let's wait for the green mountains and green waters. I will get back at you. And now, he found that he seemed to be right. His silence made the bird not attack him, and the other party did not seem to immediately want to peck his flesh. Because the bird's head with only one face nudged him again, this time instead of using the mouth, the bird used the side of the head covered with soft feathers near Yan Mo ear. Then, the human-faced bird with golden feathers squatted beside Yan Mo, clutching his body. Yan Mo. So this. Does it mean the bird is not going to eat him for the time being? 10 minutes, 20 minutes, Yan Mo fell asleep. Keeping your eyes open is always too tiring, and his kneeling position was not suitable for fighting, and the hay and feathers in the nest are more comfortable than the skins that Yan Mo has been sleeping on the ground for a while. He doesn't know how many times softer. The bird that was next to him was too warm, and the high-walled bird's nest wall blocked the cold wind outside, and a bit of the sun's rays that had been skewed on him. Such a great hardware condition, coupled with his slightly warm bloody body, even if he was hungry, he still turned his back on the embrace of sleep. Shortly after Yan Mo fell asleep, the human face bird stood up and bowed his head and glared at him. Seeing that the little two-legged quirk slumbered out there, it looked up and gave a seemingly happy chirping sound. The human face bird suddenly jumped and spread its wings and flew out from the nest. The red clouds on the horizon gradually disappeared, and the black yarn, which represents danger and represents tranquility, gradually enveloped the entire sky. The bird that sat on the outside was flying a string of yellow fruits into the nest before the real nightfall. When the little 2 feet was still asleep, bird threw the fruits into the nest and nudged 2 feet and looked at it. The miniature head, the bird's eyes closed, and it too fell asleep. Day and night alternate, the morning fog rises, and when the light is getting brighter, Yan Mo moved. For a while, he didn't know where he was. This sleeping position. Ow! The neck hurt. Because he has always maintained the same sleeping posture, he now has more pain in his neck, and his shoulders and back is aching sore. Correct. Human face bird. The moving Yan Mo stiffened. Looking up at the four sides, the big bird was not in the nest. Great opportunity! Yan Mo climbed up quickly despite his physical pain. Although the nest wall of the bird's nest is relatively high, because it is a bowl-shaped structure, it is not impossible to climb down. Yan Mo didn't even care to look at the whole nest carefully, but he was moving and catching the sides. He tried and climbed to the highest edge of the nest, and his head came out. The endless grassland far than the eyes couldn't see the ahead because today's weather was not good. The mountains in the distance are covered in fog. The river underneath looked like a grey-blue dragon whose body is too long to see the head and tail. Because the sunlight was not out yet, there is not much reflection on the water, and it looked like there is no flow from afar. There are groups of living animals in the grasslands. Wait for those look like wild horses. But those wild horses are far away from him, and if it was not for his eagle-like vision, he couldn't even tell that the big black group of the beans were the horse. The far distance here is not the horizontal distance but the vertical distance. This height is not less than 2 kilometers. No wonder the man-faced bird dared to leave him alone in the nest without fear of him escaping. This nest was built on the top of a mountain peak, a huge stone pillar that was thick. And this huge stone pillar stood on the edge of the cliff. The south side of the stone pillar, that is, the side he was currently looking at now, is perpendicular to the mountain below. If he jumps from here, he will become dumpling stuffings when he falls to the ground. Yan Mo doesn't know if he can survive if he does that. From the range he can see, he found that the outermost edge of the bowl-shaped bird's nest even exceeded the bird's nest underneath, which means that he did not have a place to hold on if he climbed out. Yan Mo didn't give up. He slowly moved, and changed to the opposite side to reach out and look around. He first looked at the vertical height of the nest and the ground. Oh, actually, if he wants to escape from this nest, it is really simple. As long as he is not afraid of a perpendicular jump of more than 100 meters to the nearest ground, then he would be free. Maybe he can tame the face bird and let him fly on it. Surviving for his own desperation, Yan Mo, who has jumped from disappointment to reality, pretends to sing the last song of his favorite singer before his death, with a little feeling of watching the sunrise scenery when he is in the air. Seeing the far side of the nest. About 3 minutes later, the bird who went out came back, and saw the hair on the face, the blood and the face, the little two-legged monster that looked young, and the two hands clasped the edge of the nest. The bird was looking at the bird's nest with a dull look.